Good morning, this is Jim. Welcome back to Soldier Farms. So, New Year's Day is come and gone, and we're in the full second day of 2026. Welcome to the shop, and thank you for watching. Without any further ado, I love music. I always have loved music. Played a little guitar, messed around with the keyboard a little. Years ago, built myself a cookie tin banjo. I needed a little stress reliever project, something to do. And so I made it, and I picked around at it. It was a lot of fun, but it was a casualty of a move, and I didn't have a place for a shop, so repairing it was out of the question. So I've thought about getting back into making some instruments, and I don't really have any kind of background in luthiery or any of that. But, it's always fun to be in the shop, make a little sawdust, make a little racket. So I think our first project of the year is going to be a little one board project. I'm going to take, and I'll show you here in a minute, I have plans. I ran across, actually completely by accident, I was looking for plans for that cookie tin banjo, and one of the things that came back in the search was a website called Cigar Box Nation. The curator there, and who I found out is also a YouTube personality by the name of Shane Speal, and he builds and plays and has written books on cigar box instruments and various other things. And what I want to talk to you about today is one of those various other things. Back in 1976, I was a kid, and like everybody, well, maybe not everybody, but a large percent of it still like TV variety shows. And the show we watched most often on Saturday was Hee Haw. Well, one of the days they started advertising this. It was a very gimmicky little instrument that you could purchase through the show, and I'm sure it was, one of the original as seen on TV products of that year. And it was a little plank dulcimer about this size, and just a piece I don't know what the originals were made out of. I would imagine since it had a plastic fretboard that it wasn't any kind of a wood known for its great tone, but I don't know. I don't have an original to examine. However, as I was looking at Cigar Box Nation, and I was reading Mr. Speal's article on this instrument, and I suggest, and I'll put a link here, but I'll also put a link in the description about the instrument, and I won't labor you with the details. If you're interested, you can go and search it out. What I will tell you is it's a musical instrument made of one board, a little plastic fretboard on the original. I'm going to use this pine furring strip, and I'm going to use another piece of 2x4 that I had S4S for another project, and it's one of my remaining braces from the CNC table. And just for the prototypical nature of the project, I'm going to keep it all in pine, and I'm going to keep the hardware just to the very minimal things that I have in my shop. Probably use either a cup hook or an eye screw. For the tailpiece, it's a 3-string instrument. I'm going to use fishing line for the strings, and I'm going to carve my own tuning pegs out of wood, and they'll be probably something out of the scrap drawer. And if you do this project, I'm going to recommend that you use hardwood for your tuning pegs. Just from my experience doing the cookie tin banjo years ago, the pine pegs that I carved, and they were terrible, but the hardwood will be more resistant to tension and breakage for one, but it will also last a lot longer. The pine pegs, the fishing wire or fishing line strings, under tension cut into the pine and, cause some stress problems. So I have these little bits and pieces where I've trimmed cutting boards where there was a knot in a place where it was inconvenient for there to be a knot. So I trim these off, but it'll be just fine for making tuning pegs. This piece of cherry is, it's got plenty of good wood there to make a tuning peg. Same here. And I've got little bits and pieces from a lot of different things. I'm not going to turn my pegs and then make knobs and do all the fancy jazz. I'm probably going to get my sander and a rasp and go at it like that. And probably my stock will be about an inch wide and about 2 inches tall, because the thickness of our wood. And he doesn't say anything about putting a rake angle on the headstock. No, I have a concern about string buzz, but that's not a question you would have if you never made a musical instrument before. So I may do either a little bit of a rake angle or use a screw with a flat wide head. Think of a pan screw or like a pocket hole screw, only you need something about that long to drive in there to act as a tensioner. Think of the string tree on a Telecaster or Stratocaster, if you know guitars. Anyway, it's just something to hold that string down and provide it some back angle tension on the upper end of the nut. It has a very, it'll be a low action instrument, but it has a very short scale. It has 17 3/8 inch scale from the nut up here by the headstock down here at the bridge. And then your tailpiece will mount here, and your fretboard is only going to be just, I would say probably about 12.5 inches. I wrote some notes on my board, but I haven't done all the fine measuring. As far as the frets are concerned, I'm either going to use some like the larger paper clips, or I've got some like clothesline wire, something like that. I don't have any solid core small wire, so that clothesline would be awfully large frets for a little tiny instrument like this. But if you had like the splines from one of the metal, like a binder cover, like if you had a large printout that you needed to punch and bind, and you had the metal clip binder, you could cut those and use them. You could even, if you had just, you know, like some little, like heavyweight arrow staples. Like if you had, well, in the old days, they used like 1-inch staples on something like this, or, you know, even clothesline or coat hanger wire would be good. And you would just saw that. I'll document the process as well as I can. My video making skills probably are on par with some of the worst, sketchiest shop projects that I've done, but we'll get through it. And there will be, I think this will be a fun instrument to build with friends. So I'm going to issue a challenge. At the end of the video, I will link to my community where you can enter, and I'll have a link to the materials that Shane Speal has provided for readers and builders on his excellent article. He has nothing to do with this. It's just I found it and thought it was a really cool project, and thought I would shout out his website and his channel, because that's where I got all the excellent information to do this. So without any further ado, hey you all, if you want to get in on this plank Dulcimer challenge, it'll be our first project of 2026. I'd like to do a challenge every month. I don't know if that'll happen. But the Soldier Farms Plank Dulcimer Challenge begins January 5th, 2026. The brief is build a plank dulcimer based on the Hee-Haw plank from 1976. I will link information and the article by Shane Speal on in the description of the video. I'll also put it on my community page, and you know, there will either be a file there you can download, or you know, some links. So the rules of the challenge are fairly simple and straightforward. You must begin with a board, either a single piece or a glue up, any wood that you want to use, no larger and no smaller than 24 inches in length, 3.5 inches wide, and 3/4 of an inch thick, you know, 1x4. So your dulcimer must have 3 strings, a fretboard, a nut, a bridge, a tailpiece, must be fretted and tuned. Number 3, a chambered body is optional. Electronics are not. We're not getting into electronics. It's an acoustic instrument. So you may use commercial strings, but no tuning machines. Make your tuners. Either make tuning pegs like I am, use some eye bolts, eye screws. I've even seen it done with cup hooks. It's very interesting. So then you're to enter, comment your channel name under the hashtag SFplankchallenge. Number 6, video reveal must be received no later than January 16th, 2026 at 11:59 p.m. And that's all the way across the country. So if you live in California, yours is due at midnight for you. If you live in Nova Scotia, well, your entry is due at midnight for you. So your string gauges, you're going to have a melody string, which is a .012, a middle .014, and a bass string .024. These are very light gauges. It's a dulcimer. It'll be twangy. So that's only a suggestions, but please review the attached article, and there are a couple of videos on the subject instrument, and I look forward to seeing all of your entries. And it's a challenge. I'll see if I can come up with some prizes. Thank you.
Well, the chips fly light in the morning shade, hand-cut boards and a pocket knife blade.